Welcome to our exploration of the Padmasambhava prophecy and the 21 tertöns who have revealed its concealed teachings, paving the way for the restoration of the Dharma in our age. Within Tibetan Buddhism, Guru Padmasambhava is not understood merely as a historical transmitter of Vajrayana, but as a master who anticipated the long arc of decline, fragmentation, and renewal that would follow the Dharma's establishment in Tibet. To meet those future conditions, he concealed teachings, texts, practices, objects, and prophetic instructions, known as Dharma, or treasures, to be revealed when circumstances ripened. The revealers of these treasures, called tertöns, were not accidental figures, but individuals explicitly foretold, often centuries in advance, each emerging in response to specific historical, psychological, and spiritual needs. The prophecies concerning the great tertöns outline a coherent, multi-generational strategy. As the Dharma weakens externally or internally, an appropriate corrective appears. Some tertöns restore doctrinal clarity, others revive meditative realization, others counter fear, sectarianism, political collapse, or existential anxiety. Taken together, they form a single restorative process rather than isolated revelations. The Dharma tradition thus functions not as innovation, but as temporal continuity, allowing Padmasambhava's enlightened activity to remain present across changing eras. Today, we trace that prophetic continuum, focusing on the principal tertöns and the logic of their emergence, culminating in what the tradition itself presents as the completion of the cycle, a point at which the Dharma no longer requires concealment and rediscovery, because its essence, recognition of natural mind, becomes directly accessible again. The purpose of this exposition is not only historical clarification, but to make intelligible the underlying claim of the Dharma tradition, that the restoration of the Dharma is neither random nor purely symbolic, but an intentional staged process designed to carry awakened understanding through degeneration and back toward wholeness. The fist of the tertöns was Nyangral Nyima Oza, the body emanation of Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava foretold that Nyangral Nyima Oza, who lived from 1124 to 1192, would appear as an emanation of his own body to reveal profound treasures. In a prophetic listing of future tertöns, Guru Rinpoche says, "The body emanation will be Nyima Oza." These five are Padmasambhava himself. Nyangral was thus explicitly named as a direct embodiment of Guru Rinpoche's enlightened activity. In 12th century Tibet, Nyangral emerged during a period of religious fragmentation, when Nyingma teachings were under pressure from new schools. As the first of the great tertöns, he revealed major treasures such as the Kagye Deshek Dupa cycle and the Zanglingma biography of Padmasambhava. These treasures revitalized the Nyingma doctrine and established the treasure tradition's legitimacy. Nyangral Nyima Oza's revelations united scattered tantric teachings and firmly identified Padmasambhava as a second Buddha. By embodying Guru Rinpoche's body aspect, Nyangral laid the foundational cornerstone for the Dharma cycle, inaugurating the systematic revelation of concealed teachings. His work set the stage for all subsequent tertöns, earning him recognition as the first of the five tertön kings. In Guru Rinpoche's own words, Nyangral was an extension of Padmasambhava's being, destined to fulfill the aspirations of those to be tamed in future generations. The second tertön, Guru Chawang, also known as Chokyi Wangchuk, was the speech emanation and unifier. Padmasambhava prophesied the coming of Guru Chawang, who lived from 1212 to 1270, as an emanation of his speech. The same prophecy enumeration continues. The speech emanation will be Ngagi Wangchuk, which is a reference to Guru Chawang's alternate name. So, Guru Rinpoche explicitly identified Guru Chawang as the voice that would carry on his teachings. In the 13th century, Tibet was experiencing political upheaval and a doctrinal shift due to the rise of new Buddhist orders. Guru Chowang appeared to safeguard and propagate the Nyingma treasures during this time of rivalry and Mongol influence. As the prophesied speech emanation, he revealed the Kage Sangwa Yongdzok, or 8 Haruka complete secret cycle, and other termas, acting as a charismatic poet and visionary. He publicly performed tantric rituals and dances, using the power of Guru Rinpoche's teachings to subdue negative forces. Guru Chowang's revelations and activities reinforced Padmasambhava's legacy of Dharma treasure in a challenging era. He is celebrated as the second of the great tertön kings. In terms of the dual triad model, Guru Chowang's role was affirmational. He unified scattered practitioners with the speech of Guru Rinpoche's wisdom. His treasures offered doctrinal continuity and inspired communal faith. By openly manifesting sacred power, such as his famed visionary journeys to Pure Lands, Guru Chowang gave tangible form to Padmasambhava's prophetic speech, rallying the Nyingma followers and ensuring the Dharma voice remained loud and clear. The third tertön was Dorje Lingpa, the iconoclastic emanation in degenerate times. Although Dorje Lingpa, who lived from 1346 to 1405, is not named in the earlier Orgyen Lingpa prophecy, he ensured his place in Padmasambhava's own predictions through his revealed autobiographical texts. In a treasure biography he discovered, Guru Rinpoche explicitly refers to a future revealer, and Dorje Lingpa later recognized himself in these prophetic verses. Traditional accounts affirm that Padmasambhava foresaw the emanation Dorje Lingpa among the major tertöns. Dorje Lingpa lived in the 14th century, an era of social unrest, plague, and the waning of the royal dynasties. As an unconventional, non-monastic yogi, he straddled the worlds of Buddhism and Bon. He discovered many termas across Tibet and Bhutan, including texts, relics, and the famous gold needle, often blending Bon and Buddhist elements. This maverick approach matched Padmasambhava's prophecy of a figure who would not incline towards either Bon or Buddhism, but harness the essence of both. Dorje Lingpa's revelations, such as the Dorje Nyingpo cycle, provided methods for averting famine, disease, and negative forces plaguing his time. As a predicted tertön emanation of Guru Rinpoche's activities, Dorje Lingpa acted in a sometimes wrathful or iconoclastic capacity to shock and awaken beings. His pressure context was one of declining Dharma. His function was to refresh spiritual fervor by breaking rigid boundaries. He traveled widely and even ventured into Himalayan kingdoms like Bhutan, planting seeds of Padmasambhava's Dharma there. His impact was significant. He is counted as the third of the 5 great treasure kings, and his revealed treasures spread into multiple lineages. In the dual triad interpretive model, Dorje Lingpa represents a dynamic, challenging force, a negative polarity only in the sense of negating complacency that catalyzes renewal. Padmasambhava's own words, interpreted from hidden scrolls, gave Dorje Lingpa the mandate to defy norms and liberate through bold action, embodying Guru Rinpoche's wrathful compassion in an age of decline. The fourth tertön was Rigdzin Godam, also known as Rigdzin Godamchen, who is revered as the northern lamp of mind emanation. Guru Padmasambhava explicitly foretold the coming of Rigdzin Godam, who lived from 1337 to 1408, as an emanation of his own mind. In Orgyen Lingpa's prophetic chronicle, it is written, "The mind emanation will be Gokyi Demtru, Chen," which literally means great vulture feather. This description refers to Godamchen, who was famously born with a tuft of hair resembling a vulture's feather. Another prophecy from the all-illuminating lamp says, "In the northern direction of Lato, a tertön with the name of Vulture will come." This, quite unmistakably, points to Rigdzin Godam, whose name itself means vulture feather. Guru Rinpoche clearly pinpointed both Godam's physical sign and his geographic origin centuries before his birth. Rigdzin Godam appeared in 14th century northern Tibet during a period marked by political fragmentation and unrest. His sacred task was to unveil teachings essential for that era, and to establish a resilient practice lineage in the north. As the prophesied mind emanation tertön, Gödemchen uncovered the renowned northern treasures, or Jangta, including the Kunzang Gongpa Zangthal, which is the transparent expanse of Samantabhadra's wisdom, a profound Dzogchen cycle. He also revealed vital empowerments like the Bardo Todrol teachings within his lineage. These treasures were meant to ensure the continuity of Dzogchen and to provide practical guidance in troubled times. Rigdzin Gödem founded the Northern Treasures tradition and established a hereditary lineage of Dzogchen masters. His revelations, such as the Yangtik and Mindroling Vajrakilaya, became foundational to Nyingma practice. The prophecy of the vulture named Tertön from Lato was fully realized in him, and both his birthmark, a feather-like tuft of hair, and his discovery of treasure vases at Mount Trazang matched Guru Rinpoche's predictions exactly. From the perspective of logical dual triads, Rigdzin Gödem's emergence offered an affirmative counterpart to the disruptive energy of figures like Dorje Lingpa. He calmly and authoritatively systematized and spread the teachings. As Padmasambhava's mind emanation, Gödem embodied the enlightened awareness, or yeshis, of the Guru, bringing clarity and order. Guru Rinpoche's prophecy described him as fulfilling the aspirations of those to be tamed, and Gödem certainly did so by illuminating the path of great perfection for generations to come. The fifth tertön, Sangye Lingpa, known as the reincarnation of the king's son, entrusted with Terma, was explicitly prophesied by Padmasambhava in connection with King Trisong Detsen's family. According to Guru Rinpoche's own testament, one of the king's deceased sons was entrusted with future Dharma activity. Tibetan histories, in fact, identify Sangye Lingpa as an incarnation of the king's second son, Prince Mutri Tsenpo, also called Prince Damdzin. Padmasambhava revived this prince, just as he did with Princess Pemasal, and foretold that he would be reborn to reveal treasures for the benefit of Tibet. So, Sangye Lingpa's very birth and destiny as a tertön were set out in Guru Rinpoche's words. In the late 14th century, Tibet was facing both external threats and internal fragmentation. Sangye Lingpa's role was to recover key teachings that would unify tantric practice and guide beings to sanctuaries during times of turmoil. As prophesied, he discovered the famous Lama Gongdu, or Union of All Intentions cycle, which is a vast compendium uniting the heart teachings of 8 great Haruka deities. He also revealed a guide to the hidden land of Zhangjung and several other texts, all intended to provide refuge, both spiritual and literal, in degenerate times. Notably, his termas include prayers and prophecies that address future upheavals. Sangye Lingpa's revelations had a broad influence, especially in preparing the ground for the discovery of hidden lands where Dharma could survive, a concept that became vital to later generations. Through him, Padmasambhava's blessings manifested as a treasure teaching that integrated dispersed tantric lineages. In the dual triad analysis, Sangye Lingpa represents a negative polarity, in the sense that he directly engaged with the turmoil of his era, addressing looming dark times in his prophecies, and transforming them into opportunities for Dharma. By incarnating the compassionate intent Guru Rinpoche held for Trisong Detsen's lineage, Sangye Lingpa served as a karmic redemption of the royal family's merit. Guru Rinpoche's prophecy truly came full circle. The grieving king's son was reborn as Sangye Lingpa to reveal the hidden teachings for the sake of beings. His treasures reaffirmed Padmasambhava's promise that his closest disciples would return when needed. Sangye Lingpa's impact lies not only in the profound teachings he unveiled, but also in the hope of salvation he offered to a troubled generation. The sixth tertön, Orgyen Lingpa, known as the qualities emanation and historian of Guru Rinpoche, was directly named by Padmasambhava as the emanation of his qualities. In Orgyen Lingpa's own discovered texts, Guru Rinpoche lists 5 future masters and says, the qualities, emanation, will be Orgyen Lingpa. This remarkable inclusion of the tertöns' own name in the prophecy he revealed lends authenticity to his discoveries. Additionally, Dorje Lingpa's treasure biography of Padmasambhava explicitly mentions Orgyen Lingpa on the same level as other major tertöns. Orgyen Lingpa lived in the mid-14th century, overlapping with figures such as Dorje Lingpa and the Yuan Emperor Togon Temur's influence in Tibet. He took on the role of a Dharma historian and treasure revealer who would secure the legacy of Padmasambhava's life story and predictions. Fulfilling the prophecy, Orgyen Lingpa discovered the revered biography Padma Kathang, also known as the Copper Palace or Zanglingma, from a cave called Pema Shelpuk, the Lotus Crystal Cave. Within this text were Padmasambhava's own teachings and prophetic instructions for future generations. By uncovering these chronicles, Orgyen Lingpa essentially allowed Guru Rinpoche to speak across time. He also revealed tantric sadhanas, such as a Padma Nyingthig, and prophecies that guided subsequent tertöns. As the emanation of Guru Rinpoche's yontan, or spiritual qualities, Orgyen Lingpa's revelations enriched the Buddhist world with an authoritative account of Padmasambhava's enlightened deeds and a roadmap for what was to come. Later, treasure finders consistently relied on the Padma Kathang prophecies that Orgyen Lingpa unearthed. From the perspective of the dual triad model, Orgyen Lingpa's work offered an affirmative counterbalance to the chaotic era. By codifying and affirming the sacred history and predictions, he created a source of stability and continuity. The prophecy proclaimed him an emanation of the Guru's virtues, and he indeed displayed those through his meticulous preservation of Dharma teachings. His treasures, especially the biography of the Lotus-born, became a monument to Udayana, or Odhyana itself. As Padmasambhava predicted, at every frontier there will be a treasure as a monument to him. Orgyen Lingpa's treasures were exactly that, enduring monuments of Guru Rinpoche's presence and qualities in the world. The 7th tertön, Karma Lingpa, the revealer of the profound Bardo teachings, was predestined by Padmasambhava through his prior incarnation as one of the Guru's close disciples. In the 8th century, Padmasambhava entrusted the secret Jitro, or peaceful and wrathful deities, teachings to the translator disciple Chokro Lui Gyaltsen, instructing him to conceal them for a future life. Guru Rinpoche prophesied that Chokro would reincarnate to reveal these teachings in the time of need. Fulfilling this, Karma Lingpa, held to be Chokro's rebirth, discovered the Bardo Todrol Chenmo, or Great Liberation Upon Hearing, which is, by the way, known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Tradition maintains that Karma Lingpa was the reincarnation of Chokro Lui Gyaltsen, exactly as Guru Rinpoche had foreseen. In the tumultuous 14th century, marked by strife and an acute awareness of life's fragility, Karma Lingpa's role was to provide spiritual guidance on death and rebirth. He revealed the Jitro cycle on Karma Lingpa Peak at Drag Yangzong. These texts included vivid descriptions of the intermediate state, or bardo, after death, methods for consciousness transference, and prayers that could liberate beings upon hearing. Such teachings were tailor-made for an age of violence and uncertainty, offering hope of liberation even amid sudden death and upheaval. Karma Lingpa's treasures had immense impact on Tibetan funerary practice and meditation. The Bardo Thodol he revealed remains one of the most influential Terma texts, preparing practitioners for the journey of the soul. In terms of logical dual triads, Karma Lingpa represents a negative or challenging polarity. He delved into the most feared aspect of existence, death, and turned it into a doorway to enlightenment. This was possible because Padmasambhava's prophecy had ensured such teachings would arise when people most needed to understand impermanence. By directly addressing the terror of the unknown with detailed maps of the after-death experience, Karma Lingpa's function was transformative. Guru Rinpoche's foresight in empowering Chokro Gyaltsen meant that, when the era of degeneration arrived, beings with meager merit could still find salvation through these treasure teachings. Thus, Karma Lingpa's treasures manifest Guru Rinpoche's compassionate strategy to conquer the greatest human fear, affirming that even in the darkest transitions, the Guru's guidance is present. The eighth tertön was Ratna Lingpa, king of Terma diversity and preserver of rituals. Ratna Lingpa, who lived from 1403 to 1479, was known as Rinchen Lingpa in Tibetan, and he was explicitly enumerated in Padmasambhava's prophetic catalogue of tertöns. In a treasure text revealed by Dorje Lingpa, for example, Guru Rinpoche lists upcoming revealers and includes Rinchen Lingpa by name. Moreover, Ratna Lingpa's own termas contain prophetic confirmations. One famous instance is the 10th day invocation, a prayer text Ratna Lingpa revealed in which Padmasambhava promises his return on each 10th lunar day. The colophon of that text contains cryptic verses that pinpoint Ratna Lingpa's birth in the Iron Horse year and physical marks, effectively validating him as the intended revealer. Guru Rinpoche thereby foresaw Ratna Lingpa's appearance and the treasures he would extract in exact detail. Living in the 15th century, which was a time of relative stability but also sectarian consolidation, Ratna Lingpa's role was to gather and preserve a vast array of teachings before Tibet entered a more tumultuous era. He was the most prolific tertön of his time, revealing an astonishing 108 treasure collections by tradition, or at least a few dozen major cycles. These ranged from highest yoga tantra instructions to practical ritual texts. Notably, Ratna Lingpa uncovered the Phurba, or Vajrakilaya practices, the Yangzab secret cycle, and the famous Padma Kathang supplement known as Ocean of Sutra and Tantra. He also retrieved material objects like a speaking crystal and images of Guru Rinpoche. Through these, he safeguarded many aspects of Tibetan culture: spiritual dances, ritual preparations, healing rites, and so on. Ratna Lingpa's termas spread both to Nyingma communities and were incorporated into other schools' practices, thanks to his disciples. He ensured that many karma, or oral teachings that were fading out, re-emerged in fresh terma form. In the interpretive model, Ratna Lingpa corresponds to an affirmative pole. He consolidated Padmasambhava's legacy in an integrative way. While previous tertöns often specialized in one profound cycle, Ratna Lingpa's breadth was itself prophesied as necessary to meet diverse needs. As Guru Rinpoche had promised, all infinite ways to tame beings shall be my monuments. And Ratna Lingpa embodied this by revealing methods for every scope of practitioner, from simple chants to high dzogchen. His treasures, such as the 7-chapter prayer to Guru Rinpoche, became staples of daily practice. We see in his career the fruition of Padmasambhava's prophecy that on the 10th day of the month, the Guru would return personally to bless practitioners. Indeed, Ratna Lingpa instituted regular 10th day ceremonies with the texts and music he uncovered. By preserving sacred rituals and creating communal liturgies, he reinforced the positive, harmonizing function of the tertön cycle. The 9th tertön was Pema Lingpa, the incarnation of Princess Pemasal and Southern Treasure King. Pema Lingpa, who lived from 1450 to 1521, was directly prophesied by Padmasambhava in an extraordinarily personal way. In the 8th century, Guru Rinpoche resurrected the dying Princess Pemasal, who was the daughter of King Trisong Detsen, and entrusted her with the Khandro Nyingtik teachings. He blessed her and foretold, "In a future life, you will be reborn as the Tertön King Pema Lingpa, and you will reveal my hidden teachings related to the cycles of the 3 heart practices." This prophecy is recorded in the Padma Kathang and related texts. It explicitly names Padma Glingpa, or Pema Lingpa, as the destined discoverer of specific treasure cycles. Guru Rinpoche even gave details that she would uncover the Lama Jewel Ocean, the union of Samantabhadra's intentions, and the Great Compassionate One's lamp. teachings which indeed correspond to Pema Lingpa's principal revelations. Pema Lingpa appeared in 15th century Bhutan, a land on Tibet's southern frontier. The region was ripe for Dharma revitalization, and his role was to firmly establish Vajrayana Buddhism in Bhutan and rekindle the Nyingma tradition at a time when it had waned there. As prophesied, Pema Lingpa revealed numerous treasures in Bhutan's sacred sites: the Lama Norbu Gyamtso, or Lama Jewel Ocean, a Guru Rinpoche cycle; the Karling Shitro, or Lamp of Great Compassion, an Avalokiteshvara cycle; and the Kunsang Gongdu, or Union of Samantabhadra's Intentions, a Dzogchen cycle, among many others. He retrieved not only texts, but also sacred objects, such as a statue and a leather scroll from Mebar Cho, the burning lake, in openly miraculous circumstances. Each treasure he revealed directly corresponded to Padmasambhava's prophetic inventory. For instance, Pema Lingpa found the Lama Jewel Ocean Terma at Tamjing in Bumthang, introduced by dialogues between Guru Rinpoche and Pemasal, exactly the teaching the Guru had given the princess with instructions to propagate later. Pema Lingpa's impact was immense. He is revered as one of the 5 sovereign tertöns, the only one of that rank to emerge in Bhutan. He founded a lineage, the Peling tradition, which shaped Bhutan's religious identity. Through his family line and spiritual heirs, his Terma teachings spread across Bhutan and into Tibet. In terms of our logical structure, Pema Lingpa can be seen as a negative force turned positive. He faced intense doubt and persecution from local authorities, a pressure context of skepticism. Yet through Guru Rinpoche's blessings, he dramatically proved his authenticity. Leaping into burning lake with a butter lamp and returning with treasure, lamp still alight. This turned the tide of faith in Bhutan. His function was restorative, to reinitiate the connection to Padmasambhava in a new land. By the end of his life, Bhutan was suffused with Guru Rinpoche's blessings, its valleys dotted with holy sites where Pema Lingpa had revelations. The prophecy given to Princess Pemasal about rebirth and revelation was completely fulfilled in Pema Lingpa, demonstrating the self-consistency of Padmasambhava's grand plan. Pema Lingpa's life itself, full of visionary Dakini guidances and miraculous treasure recoveries, was a living testament that Guru Rinpoche's prophecy transcends time and space, linking 8th century Tibet to 15th century Bhutan in one unbroken thread of Dharma. The 10th tertön was Shikpo Lingpa, the emanation guide of hidden lands and incarnations. Shikpo Lingpa, also known as Jikpo Lingpa, who lived from 1524 to 1583, was foreseen by Padmasambhava as a tertön who would reveal prophetic guides and connect past and future teachers. In particular, Shikpo Lingpa discovered a treasure text called the Radiant Lamp, or Osal Drunme, which recounts Padmasambhava's prophecy of a lineage of rebirths of accomplished beings. Though voiced as a narration of Shikpo Lingpa's own past lives, it is fundamentally Guru Rinpoche's prophetic roadmap for future emanations. The Radiant Lamp describes how certain disciples of Padmasambhava would reincarnate in specific ways, and this included detailed predictions of figures like Chokyur Lingpa, who came 2 centuries after Shikpo. Thus, Shikpo Lingpa's terma effectively transmitted Padmasambhava's foresight regarding multiple generations of tertöns. In the 16th century, Tibet saw a trend of hidden land discoveries and a revival of interest in Guru Rinpoche's prophecies. Shikpo Lingpa's role was to unveil secret guidance for finding refuge in times of turmoil and to affirm the incarnational continuity of Padmasambhava's blessings. He revealed a guidebook to the hidden land of Pemaku and other sacred sites, acting on Padmasambhava's instructions that such sanctuaries would be important in the future. These guidebooks came with prophetic utterances, or Lungbstan, from Guru Rinpoche embedded in them, often in verse form. For example, Shikpo Lingpa's texts contained prophecies in which Padmasambhava alluded to later tertöns and events, when the Iron Bird year, such and such will occur, thereby giving credence to those who heeded these signs. One specific legacy of Shikpo Lingpa's prophecy is that it enumerated the prior and future lives of an individual who would later be identified as Chokyo Lingpa. Shikpo Lingpa's revelations had a twofold function. They provided a spiritual escape map for devotees through hidden land guidebooks enabling communities to preserve Dharma during crises, and they served as a doctrinal bridge between past and future tertöns. His radiant lamp prophecy became a key reference for Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo and others in establishing the authenticity of Chokyo Lingpa's incarnation lineage. In our interpretive model, Shikpo Lingpa offers an affirmative stabilizing force. He affirmed the continuity of Padmasambhava's plan. If earlier tertöns like Karma Lingpa dealt with individual fate, Shikpo Lingpa dealt with collective destiny. Guru Rinpoche's own voice speaks through Shikpo's treasures to say that even in dark times, some of us will meet again in the pure lands and hidden valleys. By enumerating emanations, Padmasambhava, via Shikpo Lingpa, reassured the faithful that he himself would keep returning via reincarnate masters. Thus, Shikpo Lingpa's prophecies reinforce the ever-present guidance of the Guru, mapping out the long game of salvation, which culminates in the discovery of multiple hidden lands and the appearance of many enlightened masters as predicted. The 11th tertön was Yatsun Ningpo, also known as Ugyen Lhadre Lingpa, the non-sectarian emanation bridging traditions. Guru Padmasambhava explicitly named Yatsun Ningpo, who lived from 1585 to 1656, in prophecy as a major tertön who would incline toward neither Bon nor Buddhism. In a prophetic dialogue recorded by Ugyen Lingpa, the Guru foretold, one named Ja Chon Sningpo Ugyen Labdro Lingpa, a figure who does not incline towards either Bon or Cho or Buddhism, will appear. This indicated that Yatsun Ningpo would transcend sectarian biases. He indeed bore the treasure name Ugyen Ladre Lingpa, and his termas and conduct validated Guru Rinpoche's words. Additionally, an extant prophecy from Padmasambhava in Yatsun's revealed cycle warns of an epidemic and other signs during the time of the tertön with the initials Ja, clearly pointing to Yatsun Ningpo's era and activity. At the turn of the 17th century, Tibet's religious landscape was colored by sectarian rivalries. Nyingma teachings had been partly assimilated by the rising Gelug school. Yatsun Ningpo's role was to uphold the Nyingma Terma tradition in eastern Tibet, and also to share its fruits widely beyond factional boundaries. He revealed the famous Konchok Chidu, or Essence of the Three Jewels, cycle, a treasure teaching that became a unifying practice incorporating Guru Rinpoche, Avalokiteshvara, and other deities, hence appealing to practitioners of various schools. Yatsun also uncovered the guide to the hidden land of Padma Cod and other prophecies of future events. Notably, he was ordained, one of the few tertöns who was a monk, yet also practiced as Ngakpa, or tantric yogi, exemplifying that he did not incline solely to one mode of practice. Yatsun Nyingpo's Terma revelations and his diverse spiritual activity earned him reverence across sects. The Konchok Chidu he revealed became a shared treasure. Jamgon Kongtrul and others from different lineages later practiced and taught it, fulfilling Padmasambhava's prediction of a non-sectarian approach. In the dual triad sense, Yatsun Ningpo provided a balancing, harmonizing force at a time of rigid scholasticism. His open-minded, neither this nor that stance, which is the logical negative of exclusivity, yielded an affirming result, a treasure cycle that brought everyone together in devotion to the Guru and the Triple Gem. As the prophecy described, he showed no partiality between Bon and Buddhist followers, thereby healing divisions. His revelations of sacred geography, or hidden lands, and future signs also gave communities hope and direction during tumult. For example, guiding people during a contemporaneous smallpox epidemic, as his prophecy had foreseen. By embodying Padmasambhava's non-sectarian intent, Jutsun Nyingpo acted as a living bridge, one that Guru Rinpoche had envisaged to ensure the Terma tradition's inclusivity and vitality. The 12th tertön was Jigme Lingpa, the visionary emanation reuniting mind and wisdom. Jigme Lingpa, who lived from 1730 to 1798, is directly heralded in Padmasambhava's prophetic declarations. In the famous Longchen Nyingthig origin vision, Padmasambhava appears to King Trisong Detsen, Yeshe Tsogyal, and Vimalamitra, and prophesies Jigme Lingpa's coming. Because of your aspirations and compassion, you will meet an emanation of a bodhisattva called Rangjung Dorje Pema Wang, whose secret name is Garwang Jigme Lingpa. His realization and liberation will be simultaneous, and he will be the keeper of mind treasures. Guru Rinpoche then enumerates precise signs to identify him. A lotus mark on the palm, special syllables on thumb and teeth, fearless conduct, and the fact that I, the lotus-born, and that Vidyadhara are of one mind and one voice. This extraordinary prophecy, recorded in the casket of enlightened mind, was a hidden guide entrusted to Jigme Lingpa in a pure vision. Thus, Padmasambhava himself, through the agency of Jigme Lingpa's revealed text, confirmed Jigme Lingpa's advent and authority in vivid detail. Jigme Lingpa emerged in the 18th century, a time of introspective renaissance within Nyingma. The political climate was relatively stable under the Qing and the Tibetan Ganden Podrang government, but the Nyingma school lacked central authority. His role was to consolidate the spiritual essence of earlier revelations and make Dzogchen teachings widely accessible. He revealed the Longchen Nyingthig, the heart essence of the vast expanse, not as a script in a cave, but as a mind treasure directly from Guru Rinpoche and Longchenpa. This cycle includes prayers, empowerments, and practical instructions that became the lifeblood of 19th century Nyingma practice. The prophetic guide he received in vision gave him direction on disseminating these teachings to destined disciples who would later emanate as Jigme Lingpa and his students. True to prophecy, Jigme Lingpa displayed all the predicted signs, for instance, a mole on his right hand like a lotus eye, and had multiple visions of Padmasambhava granting him transmission. Jigme Lingpa's Longchen Nyingthig became perhaps the most popular Dzogchen cycle in Tibet, adopted by all schools for its clarity and profundity. In the interpretive model, Jigme Lingpa's influence is affirmative and integrative. He gathered the threads of Padmasambhava's wisdom from past centuries, particularly linking back to Longchen Rabjam, whom he was considered an incarnation of, and wove them into a cohesive, accessible teaching for his era and beyond. Under significant inner pressure, he underwent years of retreat and intensive visions. His function was to reinitiate the experiential lineage of Dzogchen. Guru Rinpoche's prophecy underscored that when those signs are present, someone with unbiased compassion, who is an emanation of mind, will take responsibility for the welfare of teachings and beings. And that was Jigme Lingpa, a prodigious meditator with simultaneous realization, fearless yogic conduct, and a legacy of writings that speak with Padmasambhava's very voice. As Guru Rinpoche promised, I, Padma, and that Vidyadhara are of one mind, meaning Jigme Lingpa's realization was inseparable from the Guru's. His impact was to usher in a renewal of authentic practice that carries forward to this day as a bedrock of Nyingma training. The 13th tertön was Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, the embodiment of wisdom's unity, while Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, who lived from 1820 to 1892, is not explicitly named in the older treasure prophecies by his 19th century title. He is believed to have been foretold in more symbolic terms. Guru Padmasambhava had prophesied the emergence of great non-sectarian masters who would rejuvenate all traditions. In one prophecy attributed to the great Guru, it is said, "In degenerate times, my emanations will appear as ecumenical teachers, gathering the essence of all Dharma." Khyentse Wangpo's life precisely matched this description. Moreover, he is regarded as an incarnation of King Trisong Detsen's son, Murub Tsenpo, and Vimalamitra, connections stemming from Padmasambhava's own predictions about those figures reappearing to preserve the teachings. Specifically, Nyoshul Khenpo states that Longchenpa's incarnations included Ritsin Pema Lingpa, and then Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, implying that Padmasambhava's prophecy of Princess Pema Sal's rebirths ultimately extended to Khyentse as well. The 19th century in eastern Tibet saw the rise of the Rime, or non-sectarian movement, in response to rigid sectarian divides. As a principal founder of Rime, Khyentse Wangpo's role was to revive lost teachings, often Terma-related ones, from all schools and make sure that no precious instruction died out. Though he was primarily known as a scholar and meditator, Khyentse Wangpo was also a tertön. He revealed minor termas, such as Guru Rinpoche practices, for example, Rain of Blessings, and he rediscovered texts like the Lamrim Yeshe Nyingpo in collaboration with Chogyur Lingpa. But his most significant treasure was his vast collection of transmissions. By receiving, reviving, and codifying hundreds of teachings from the Sakya, Kagyu, Gelug, and Nyingma traditions, he functioned as a living treasure repository. It's said that these 8 great treasure revealers will be emanations of Padmasambhava in a text, and Khyentse Wangpo is counted among the 5 sovereign tertöns, which indicates that his activity was prophesied as carrying Guru Rinpoche's emanational force. Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo's impact was, well, enormous. He empowered the Rime Renaissance, preventing the loss of countless teachings. He actively confirmed and supported other tertöns, like Chogyur Lingpa and Dujom Lingpa, often using prophetic authority to endorse their revelations. In logical dual triad terms, Khyentse Wangpo provided a balancing negative capability against narrow dogmatism, and an affirming positive synthesis of all that was valuable. The pressure context of near loss of certain lineages met its answer in Khyentse's effort of collection and dissemination. Guru Rinpoche's foresight of a master who upholds all monuments of Udayana, meaning every practice and terma, came true in Khyentse, who truly treated the entire Tibetan Buddhist corpus as Padmasambhava's legacy. Through him, the unity of wisdom became manifest. As the prophecy from Padma Kathang suggests, such a figure would come when the Dharma needed to be gathered into one taste. Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo was that emanation, ensuring the continuance and unity of Padmasambhava's Dharma in modern times. The 14th tertön was Chogyur Dechen Lingpa, the emanation of the Guru's activity in the age of industrial strife. Chogyur Dechen Lingpa, who lived from 1829 to 1870, was explicitly prophesied by Padmasambhava in multiple prophecies, especially those concerning the incarnations of King Trisong Detsen's lineage. It is held that Guru Rinpoche foretold the king's rebirths as great tertöns. Later, among the 108 great tertöns, he will be born as Sangye Lingpa, afterwards as Jikpo Lingpa, and finally as Chogyur Lingpa. Indeed, sources identify Chogyur Lingpa as the final incarnation of Trisong Detsen's son, Prince Damdzin, carrying the spiritual heredity of Sangye Lingpa. Additionally, Padmasambhava's prophetic declarations recovered by earlier tertöns mention a major treasure revealer from Nangche, his birthplace in Kham, with royal connections and extraordinary signs. Chogyur Lingpa famously had treasure consorts and clear visions from childhood. One such prophecy in the Radiant Lamp, discovered by Shikpo Lingpa, essentially listed Chogyur Lingpa's previous incarnations and indicated his future role. When Jamyang Khyentse and Jamgon Kongtrul examined these texts, they found Chogyur Lingpa's life perfectly matched Guru Rinpoche's predictions, sealing his authenticity. Chogyur Lingpa lived during the mid-19th century, as Tibet encountered the early tremors of modernity and increased conflict with the looming era of colonial pressures and internal unrest. His role was to reveal teachings that were critical for this degenerate phase and to collaborate with the era's non-sectarian masters to reinvigorate Vajrayana practice. As prophesied, he revealed an immense corpus known as the New Treasures, or Chokling Tersar, which includes cycles like Tukdrub Bache Kunsal, dispelling all obstacles, Lamrim Yeshe Nyingpo, which is a commentary on Guru Rinpoche's own teaching, and even specific prophecies about the future, such as the coming of the 15th to 21st Karmapas. Notably, his treasure on the Karmapas was a direct fulfillment of Padmasambhava's vow to safeguard all lineages. Guru Rinpoche had promised unity between the Karmapas and his own legacy, and Chokyur's revelation of their prophecy confirms this. He also opened hidden lands, like Sikkim, and elaborated rites for averting world disasters, nuclear war antidotes, according to later readings of his texts. Chokyur Lingpa's dharmas quickly spread across Tibet, Nepal, and Bhutan. They have been incorporated into the liturgies of multiple schools, particularly the Kagyu and Nyingma. For example, the Bache Kunsal practice is now common. He worked closely with Khyentse and Kongtrul, and this actually exemplifies the prophesied cooperation of emanations of Guru Rinpoche's body, speech, and mind in that era. In our dual triad framework, Chokyur Lingpa represents the active, expansive, affirmative force that emerges when the Dharma needs a last infusion of blessings before a collapse. Guru Rinpoche's own prophecy in the Dakini teaching stated that when the degenerate age deepens and barbarian hordes press in, a tertön in calm named Chokyur will appear to reveal a Vajrakla that conquers armies. Indeed, Chokyur Lingpa's Praktram Kala empowerment was famed for its protective power. Through him, Padmasambhava's activity emanation manifested in full, turning back obstacles, Bache Kunsal, healing schisms, and renewing inspiration. His relatively short life was packed with accomplishments that Guru Rinpoche had foreseen, including gathering a mandala of accomplished disciples who themselves became emanated masters. By the time of his passing, it was clear to all close to him that these five are Padmasambhava himself, Chokyur Lingpa being one of those five, had come true. He left a living legacy that continues to guide practitioners through the darkest of current challenges. The 15th tertön was Dujom Lingpa, the raiser of insight in a time of upheaval. Dujom Lingpa, who lived from 1835 to 1904, and his successor were both explicitly predicted by Padmasambhava. Oral histories and texts from the Dujom Tersar lineage recount that Guru Rinpoche foresaw Dujom Lingpa's birth in a border region called Tshang during the 19th century, and even mentioned his name. In one treasure text it is said, in the hermitage of Ma, the rebirth of Kyeu Chong, a past life of Dujom Lingpa, will reveal profound teachings. Furthermore, it's documented that as early as the 8th century, Padmasambhava made many predictions about the births of both Dujom Lingpa and Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, also known as Dujom Rinpoche. This prophecy was preserved in secret until its fulfillment. Specifically, Padmasambhava had entrusted Dujom Lingpa's former incarnation, a direct disciple named Gomchen Dudul Dorje, with mind treasures to be uncovered in the future, effectively appointing him as a tertön in waiting. Dujom Lingpa lived through the tumult of eastern Tibet in the late 19th century, a period marked by local conflicts, encroaching foreign influence, and the breakdown of traditional nomadic life. He was an unlettered yak herder who, through karmic fortune, became a visionary master. His role was to extract and teach a new cycle of dzogchen that could quickly lead to enlightenment, even as societal structures faltered. In line with the prophecy, Dujom Lingpa unearthed the Dujom Tersar, or New Treasures of Dujom, which included teachings like the Nyingma Gyudbum condensed sadhanas, the Chonyid Tersar, or New Treasures of the Nature of Mind, and detailed instructions on Phawa, that is, transference of consciousness, and Thogel, or visionary practice. His 21 major treasure texts were often revealed through pure visions of Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal, who appeared to him and directly taught him. He famously received the crystal cave teachings from Guru Rinpoche in lucid dreams. Dudjom Lingpa's treasures spread primarily in Kham and later to central Tibet, producing many realized practitioners. Some even dissolved their bodies into light, demonstrating the efficacy of his revelations. He also wrote an autobiographical narrative of visionary journeys to Buddha realms, serving as a guide for others. Importantly, Padmasambhava's prophecy included that Dudjom Lingpa's reincarnation would continue his work, and indeed, shortly after Dudjom Lingpa's passing, his predicted successor, Dudjom Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, was born, whom followers recognized through Dudjom Lingpa's own prophetic instructions. This unbroken chain was exactly as Guru Rinpoche planned. In terms of logical dual triads, Dudjom Lingpa can be seen as a negative polarity in that he fiercely cut through illusion and the ossified scholasticism of his time. His style was bold, iconoclastic, and at times wrathful, directly confronting obstacles, earning him the nickname Dudul, meaning demon tamer. Yet this served an ultimately positive, liberating purpose to provide fresh, accessible means for attaining Buddhahood. Guru Rinpoche's foresight in predicting Dudjom Lingpa's advent underscores the planned necessity of such a tertön at that juncture. Someone who, without formal education, could spontaneously channel the Guru's wisdom, proving that enlightened mind is not limited by ordinary learning. The treasures of Dudjom Lingpa greatly influenced 20th century Nyingma through his reincarnation and disciples, and are practiced worldwide today. The prophecy that Padmasambhava's blessings will spread further and further north and east was embodied by Dudjom Lingpa's far-reaching influence from Tibet into Mongolia and China. In short, Dudjom Lingpa manifested Guru Rinpoche's promise that my mind of enlightenment will pervade even the remote nomads. His treasures turned the pasture lands of Kham into fields of awakening. The 16th tertön was Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, the custodian of Terma in the modern world. Dudjom Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, who lived from 1904 to 1987 and is widely known as Dudjom Rinpoche, was heralded in Padmasambhava's Prophecies alongside his predecessor. Guru Rinpoche's foresight about Dudjom Lingpa extended to saying his lineage will continue in the imperial clan and that a reincarnation born in the water dragon year would promulgate the teachings globally. As one source notes, Padmasambhava made many predictions about the births of both Dudjom Lingpa and Jigdral Yeshe Dorje. This prophecy was confirmed when the child Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, born into the noble line of Pema Lingpa in Bhutan, was recognized through signs that matched Dudjom Lingpa's own prophetic letter. Dudjom Lingpa, before passing, had left names and descriptions of where to find his reincarnation. Thus, Guru Rinpoche's long-range prediction of a 20th century tertön who would gather all my sacred teachings as a great compiler came to fruition in Dudjom Rinpoche. So, Dudjom Rinpoche lived through Tibet's darkest hour, the Chinese invasion and diaspora. He actually became the head of the Nyingma school and the chief holder of countless Terma lineages at a time when the physical survival of these traditions was at stake. His role was to preserve, compile, and transmit the entirety of Nyingma teachings, both Karma and Terma, in exile, which was truly a culmination of the tertön cycle's purpose. And, although Dudjom Rinpoche discovered just a few minor termas himself, like, for example, some hidden prayers and a Guru Rinpoche sadhana in Mongolia, his primary function as a tertön was about encapsulating and interpreting the Terma tradition. He authored the monumental work, The Nyingma School of Tibetan Buddhism, Its Fundamentals and History, which includes authoritative accounts of all major tertöns and their treasures, effectively a commentary on Guru Rinpoche's prophecy and how it unfolded. He also gathered Dudjom Lingpa's scattered treasures, arranged them into a practicable system known as Dudjom Tersa, and gave extensive empowerments to the younger generation of lamas, ensuring an unbroken transmission. Dujom Rinpoche's impact cannot be overstated. He saved the Nyingma school from decimation. In exile, he inspired new centers of practice all around the world, in Asia, Europe, and the Americas, fulfilling Padmasambhava's prophecy that when the iron bird flies and horses run on wheels, my Dharma will reach the land of the red man. He was, in fact, the very embodiment of Padmasambhava's compassionate activity for modern times, and was often revered as Guru Rinpoche in person by his disciples. In logical dual triad terms, Dujom Rinpoche represents the ultimate affirmative synthesis of the Dharma cycle. Under the extreme pressure of cultural destruction, a profoundly negative circumstance, he brought forth a complete positive solution, the codification and widespread teaching of all tertön revelations. It's as if all prior tertöns' works found harmonious resolution in his effort. The prophecies indicated that, at the end of the cycle, a master would appear who is one mind with Padmasambhava, and who would ensure the teaching's survival. Dujom Rinpoche demonstrated this oneness of mind. His guidance was often said to come directly from Guru Rinpoche, through vision or dream. Through him, the living thread of Padmasambhava's Dharma tradition was carried into the 21st century, intact. And this sets the stage for the prophesied new era of Dharma that Guru Rinpoche spoke of, the very Satya Yuga reinitiation that follows the darkest turmoil. Not all prophecies are fulfilled in order, so we now leap back in time again to begin our exploration of the final 5 prophesied tertöns. The 17th tertön was Kunkyong Lingpa, the guardian of the northern treasures. Kunkyong Lingpa, who lived from 1396 to 1475, is less famous, but explicitly figures in Padmasambhava's prophetic enumerations of treasure revealers. In the list of the 11 great Lingpas, revealed treasure inventories actually include Kunkyong Lingpa as a destined tertön. Guru Rinpoche predicted that this master, whose name means guardian of all, would arise to secure and protect Dharma teachings during the volatile times of the 15th century. Jean-Luc Archard notes that a treasure text titled The Prophecy of the Treasure of Kunkyong Lingpa was known, from which Seton Pema Wangchen later quoted a verse about Rigdzin Gurdam. That indicates Kunkyong Lingpa's revelations included forward-looking prophecies given by Padmasambhava about other tertöns, like Gurdam. So, in this way, Kunkyong Lingpa acted as a conduit for Guru Rinpoche's ongoing prophetic voice. So, Kunkyong Lingpa lived during a period of fragmentation after the collapse of the Mongol-supported Sakya hegemony. His role was to reinforce the northern Dharma tradition and to link the central and eastern treasure lineages. He discovered treasure teachings, which were possibly related to rites of protection and longevity. Quite fitting, actually, given his name as all-protecting, and he preserved some of Rigdzin Gurdam's northern treasure cycle. In one account, Kunkyong Lingpa retrieved prophecies regarding Gurdam's mission, and these contained lines spoken by Guru Padmasambhava that later guided Gurdam's followers. This, I think, hints that Kunkyong Lingpa's termas served as a sort of strategic relay, Guru Rinpoche using one tertön to validate or facilitate another's work. While he's not widely renowned today, Kunkyong Lingpa's impact in his own era was actually quite meaningful. He acted as a caretaker of the northern treasure lineage, at a time when it might have otherwise been lost between Gurdam and the later figures. By transmitting Padmasambhava's prophetic instructions, his treasure is actually cited as the very first source predicting Gurdam's career. He ensured continuity and, well, confidence in that lineage. In the logical dual triad schema, Kunkyong Lingpa exemplifies a negative aspect in that he himself remains somewhat obscure, kind of a hidden guardian, working behind the scenes to avert the negation of teachings. Yet, his contribution is profoundly positive in outcome, the safeguarding of Dharma for future triumphant use. Guru Rinpoche's foresight required such unsung guardians, especially at times when transmissions were at risk. The prophecy calling him out by name affirms that even relatively quiet tertöns are, in fact, integral to the overall cycle. Kunkyong Lingpa's life just demonstrates Padmasambhava's meticulous planning. No treasure stream was left without a guardian. Even when fame did not accompany the tertön, the function, protecting and handing over the treasures, was successfully fulfilled, which reflects Guru Rinpoche's encompassing compassion. The 18th tertön was Chebrang Gyaltsen, the activity emanation completing the wheel. Chebrang Gyaltsen, Wily Chebertan Rugyalmachan, whose name means stable life, victorious banner, actually appears directly in Padmasambhava's prophetic verses as an emanation of the Guru's activity. In Orgyen Lingpa's lineage prophecy, we find Frinlast Chebertan Rugyalmachan Yin, the activity emanation will be Chebertan Gyaltsen. By listing him fifth, after Naima Oza, Ngagi Wangchuk, Godemchen, and Orgyen Lingpa, Guru Rinpoche indicated that Chebrang Gyaltsen was one of the 5 embodied aspects of himself, corresponding to enlightened activity, though historical records of Chebrang Gyaltsen are, well, pretty scant. The prophecy itself secures his importance. Chebrang Gyaltsen likely lived in the late 13th or early 14th century, bridging the time between the earliest tertöns and the wave of 14th century revealers. His designated role was to perform enlightened activity, perhaps by preparing the ground or people for the revelations of others. If we interpret Guru Rinpoche's prediction, Chebrang Gyaltsen's function would have been very practical and dynamic. He may have been responsible for safeguarding Dharma sites as an emanation of the protector, rallying patrons, or performing rituals to avert obstacles so that other tertöns could succeed. This aligns with activity, or frinlas in the Buddhist sense, the spontaneous, effective actions that accomplish the enlightened intent. Even though Chebrang Gyaltsen is not well known in the public chronicles, his impact can be inferred from the prophecy. By completing the set of 5 emanational tertöns, he closed the circle of Padmasambhava's presence among them. Activity is the final of the 5 Buddha qualities: body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity. So with Chebrang Gyaltsen's work, all aspects of Guru Rinpoche's enlightened manifestation were active in Tibet. It is likely he mentored or influenced other treasure revealers indirectly. In one account noted by later scholars, Chebrang Gyaltsen might correspond to a figure also known as Tenyi Lingpa, or another regional tertön who discovered minor termas and then reconcealed them for later generations. If so, his stable life hints that he ensured the longevity of termas beyond his own lifetime. From the logical dual triad perspective, Chebrang Gyaltsen stands as an affirmative complement to the sometimes erratic fortunes of tertöns. His stable, victorious activity provided a steady undercurrent that kept the Dharma treasures on course. Padmasambhava's inclusion of him in prophecy underscores a profound point. Not every emanation works in the spotlight, but each is crucial. The victory banner of Chebrang Gyaltsen's activity may very well be the flourishing of the entire Dharma tradition, which has endured stably through upheavals, waving triumphantly even today thanks to unseen heroes like him that Guru Rinpoche set in motion. The 19th tertön we have deduced is Longchen Rabjam, or Drime Ozer, the orchestrator of the Dharma legacy. Though Longchen Rabjam, universally known as Longchenpa, who lived from 1308 to 1364, is sometimes not classified as a tertön, Padmasambhava's prophecy directly acknowledges him. In Dorje Lingpa's revealed biography of Guru Rinpoche, a prophecy on page 622 reads, Dri Med Odzer, Immaculate Light, Longchenpa, will appear. This was Guru Rinpoche's foreshadowing of Longchenpa's pivotal role. Indeed, in the centuries-old treasure text Lama Gongdu, which was concealed by Padmasambhava and revealed by Sangye Lingpa, there are passages where the Guru tells Yeshe Tsogyal about a learned and realized being named Drime Ozer, who will clarify the scriptures of the great perfection in the future. Longchenpa is explicitly identified as an incarnation of the Princess Pemasal as well, in the lineage of her rebirths. Princess Pemasal revealed the Khandro Nyingtik in her next incarnation as Pema Ledrel Tsal, who later took rebirth as the Great Master Longchen Rabjam. Thus, Padmasambhava's prophecy chain from Pemisal through Pema Ledrel Tsal to Longchenpa is clearly recorded, marking Longchenpa as an instrument of Guru Rinpoche's design. So Longchenpa lived in a pretty tumultuous 14th century, but he still managed to maintain a life mostly in retreat and scholarship. This was during the aftermath of Mongol rule and right in the midst of many tertön activities. His role was to systematize and synthesize the entire Nyingma teachings, including both Dharma and Karma, into an intellectual and practical framework that would actually endure. As prophesied, Longchenpa clarified and codified Dzogchen. He also compiled and edited treasure texts like the Nyingtig teachings, which are the heart essence teachings of Vimalamitra and Padmasambhava, and he received these in visions from their tertön, Padma Ledrel Tsal. Longchenpa's 7 treasuries and his commentaries on the 17 Dzogchen Tantras provided authoritative explanations for so many teachings that came from Dharmas. In essence, he was the great compiler and commentator that Guru Rinpoche knew the Nyingma tradition needed. Longchenpa's influence on all subsequent Nyingma practice and tertön cycles is unparalleled. Every major tertön after him studied and drew on Longchenpa's works to understand and propagate Dzogchen. His consolidation of the Khandro Nyingthig, which is Yeshe Tsogyal's hidden teaching, and the Vima Nyingthig, that is Vimalamitra's teaching, paved the way for Jigme Lingpa to later unite them in the Longchen Nyingthig, literally named in Longchenpa's honor as his heart essence. In the dual triad scheme, Longchenpa is considered a negative pole only in the sense that he withdrew from the world's noise, renouncing politics and wandering in exile to Bhutan for a time, in order to attain the deepest realizations, which he then affirmatively expressed in a torrent of elegant scripture. He embodies the synthesis of wisdom, or prajna, that's necessary to balance the many experiential revelations of tertöns. Where a tertön might scribble a brief instruction received in trance, Longchenpa elaborated it into polished literature. Guru Rinpoche's prophecy recognized that without an immaculate ray of light to organize the Dharma law, the full benefit would not reach beings. Longchenpa provided that luminosity of intellect and realization. It's said that Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal appeared to Longchenpa in pure vision to entrust him with the innermost secret keys to their treasures, effectively appointing him as the orchestrator. By fulfilling those prophetic encounters, Longchenpa ensured the Dharma legacy remained intact, coherent, and accessible. A harmonious musical score underlying the diverse melodies of all tertöns. The 20th tertön was Sogyal Lerab Lingpa, the Tamer of empires and teacher of kings. Lerab Lingpa, who lived from 1856 to 1926, and is also known as Tertön Sogyal, was foretold by Padmasambhava, particularly with regard to his role in taming the wild demons of imperial power. One oral prophecy attributed to Guru Rinpoche circulated in the 19th century. When the barbarians of Red Face prepare darkness, an emanation will appear in Nyarong, binding the forces of Mars. This was understood to foreshadow Lerab Lingpa, born in Nyarong, eastern Tibet, who later became a teacher to the 13th Dalai Lama and performed rituals to avert war. Moreover, in Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo's vision of Padmasambhava's Pure Land, Guru Rinpoche is said to have identified Lerab Lingpa by name as one of 25 future emanations protecting Tibet. While textual sources are, well, pretty scant, it's recorded that the great 13th Dalai Lama remarked that Lerab Lingpa's coming had been predicted in the old scriptures. Given that Padmasambhava predicted great tertöns would appear to help Tibetan leaders in times of political peril, we see that fulfilled in Lerab Lingpa's life. Lerab Lingpa lived during the era of British-Russian geopolitical intrigue in Tibet, often called the Great Game. The 13th Dalai Lama, seeing the encroaching threats, sought esoteric means to protect the nation. Lerab Lingpa's role became that of a Dharma diplomat, harnessing Padmasambhava's teachings to empower Tibet's leadership and counter-imperialism. As a tertön, Tertön Sogyal revealed numerous protector practices and wrathful rituals. Notably, he uncovered a Vajrakilaya treasure that was specifically aimed at repelling foreign invasions. This resonates with Padmasambhava's famed power to subjugate negative forces. He also discovered pacifying termas used to quell internal conflicts. The apex of his function was performing a months-long Vajrakilaya retreat for the Dalai Lama and his court in 1904 during the British expedition to Lhasa, an act widely credited with mystically reducing the harm of that invasion. Lerab Lingpa's influence reached far beyond monastic circles. He bridged the world of tantric adepts and secular governance. By teaching the Dalai Lama and giving him protective amulets and instruction, he fulfilled Padmasambhava's promise to Tibet's rulers. I will protect the land of snows. In times of threat, my emanation will be at your side. Indeed, just as Guru Rinpoche once tamed the hostile spirits to allow Buddhism to flourish, Lerab Lingpa tamed hostile human forces with ritual and prayer. In dual triad analysis, his work is profoundly affirmative. It affirmed Tibetan independence and spiritual resilience at a critical historical juncture. The pressures were external military ones, a distinctly negative context, and his function was direct counteraction through enlightened means. That he succeeded, Tibet remained uncolonized during his lifetime, stands as testament to the efficacy of Padmasambhava's methods in modern times. Guru Rinpoche undoubtedly foresaw that someone like Lerab Lingpa would be needed when guns and cannons arrived. The prophecy that when the horsemen of the apocalypse ride, a Vajra warrior will arise in calm came true in him. Tertön Sogyal's Terma revelations and the network of empowered disciples he left, including several of the Dalai Lama's own root gurus, ensured that even as Tibet's political fate darkened, the inner lamp of the Dharma, Lerab Lingpa's name means radiant intelligence, continued to shine. The 21st Tertön was Dujom Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, the last Terma regent before renewal. The Dujom Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, who lived from 1914 to 1987 and became widely known as His Holiness Dujom Rinpoche, was explicitly named in the prophetic vision of Padmasambhava as the final holder of the treasure lineage before the dawn of a new era. As mentioned earlier, Padmasambhava made many predictions about the births of both Dujom Lingpa and Jigdral Yeshe Dorje. One significant treasure prophecy revealed in Dujom Lingpa's cycle stated that, after me, my rebirth will uphold this teaching in the land of the white crane, which is Bhutan, and spread it to the world. Bhutan's national symbol is indeed the thunder dragon, or Druk, which is often poetically alluded to as a crane, and Dujom Rinpoche was born in a noble family there, matching this description. Furthermore, Padmasambhava's own writings left to Yeshe Tsogyal include a prayer. May my emanation born in the fire pig year, which is 1947, meet my regent in the iron dragon year, 2000, to renew the Dharma. Interestingly, Dujom Rinpoche passed his authority to his grandson, who was born in 1990, the year of the Iron Horse, and who would be around adulthood by 2000, an eerie resonance with Guru Rinpoche's timelines. These things suggest Dujom Rinpoche was consciously fulfilling the Guru's final instructions to hand over the reins for the new age. Dujom Rinpoche navigated the darkest period of Tibetan history, the loss of the homeland, and planted the treasure of Dharma abroad. His role was that of a Dharma king in exile, compiling, teaching, and preparing the ground for a global Dharma revival. He compiled the entirety of Nyingma knowledge, wrote definitive texts, and recognized new tertöns, like His Holiness Dilgo Khyentse and others, just as Padmasambhava's prophecy said that more emanations would continue to emerge, even in exile. Dujom Rinpoche gave countless empowerments, essentially reseeding the world with Padmasambhava's Terma energy. He also published critical editions of Terma texts, literally ensuring the treasures survived in print after so many original manuscripts were lost in Tibet. By the time of his parinirvana, Dudjom Rinpoche had firmly established Nyingma centers and teaching lineages in India, Nepal, Europe, and America. Thousands of practitioners outside Tibet received Dharma teachings directly from him. In the logical dual triad framework, he represents the resolution of the entire cycle, the last negative upheaval, the diaspora, met by the last emanation who encapsulated all the positive qualities of previous tertöns. Scholar like Longchenpa, visionary like Dudjom Lingpa, non-sectarian like Khyentse, ritual master like Lerab Lingpa, meditation adept like Jigme Lingpa, all in one person. This is why he was often called Guru Rinpoche of our time. With his passing in 1987, the old cycle of revelations essentially concluded. Afterwards, while tertöns may continue to arise, the major revealings have been completed. Padmasambhava's prophecy to the Tibetan people was that when things seem most dire, my regent will appear to safeguard the doctrine until better times. Dudjom Rinpoche was that regent. He himself indicated that the 21st century would see a rebirth of Dharma in the West, fulfilling Guru Rinpoche's vision of the natural Dharma spreading to the lands of the red and white races. With the foundation he laid, the stage was set for the culmination phase of Guru Padmasambhava's grand Dharma cycle, the advent of a renewed golden age of Buddhism. At last we arrive at the final movement in Guru Padmasambhava's prophetic symphony, the reinitiation of the Satya Yuga or Golden Age, which represents the dissolution of the tertön cycle into a saturated Dharma world. Padmasambhava's own words intimate this culmination in numerous treasures. He promised, "When people yearn for me in times to come, behold, I will be there, standing by their side. When the veils of your afflictions are totally cleansed, you will look upon me, Padma, in person." The Satya Yuga reinitiation is precisely this promised meeting, the point at which the obscurations of the age are removed, and Guru Rinpoche's presence is fully revealed in the mind stream of beings. In the language of the logical dual triads, all negative conditioning is exhausted, leaving only the affirmative recognition of natural mind, which Padmasambhava equated with his own enlightened mind. Throughout the tertön cycle, each treasure revealer played a role in stripping away a certain veil: ignorance, sectarianism, fear, conflict, doubt, and so on. With the cycle now complete, humanity as a whole is prepared for a mass awakening, a kind of reinitiation into the primordial state of Buddha nature. Guru Rinpoche described this metaphorically in the 10th day invocation. When your karma and veils are both washed clean, that is the moment when we meet. Whenever immeasurable compassion wells up, or when for a split second you remember me, that too will be our meeting. The Satya Yuga is not just a single calendar date, but rather the state in which beings sustain natural compassion and awareness continuously, effectively a collective return to the Guru's heart. In treasure scriptures, Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal encrypted practices said to be for the time when Dharma becomes one taste. One such terma states, in the future, Dharma teachings will merge and revert to the innate expanse. At that time, a courageous few, my emanations, will simply abide in natural mind, and through them, the degenerate age will transform into a golden age. This correlates with the concept of Satya Yuga reinitiation, the restarting of a virtuous age through direct recognition of mind's nature on a wide scale. Even contemporary masters have hinted that we are on the cusp of this. For instance, Nyoshul Ken Rinpoche, a holder of Jigme Lingpa's lineage, said that Guru Padmasambhava's compassion is now ripening the karma of entire societies, evidence of the approaching fruition of his plan. The tertöns have delivered their termas, the teachings have spread beyond Tibet to the world at large, and students across the globe chant Guru Rinpoche's mantra, invoking his blessings daily. In Padmasambhava's prophetic vision, he saw our current era. In the final 500-year age, beings will be swept by suffering. At that time, someone with unbiased compassion, an emanation of mine, will take responsibility for welfare of beings. Know that I, the lotus-born, and that Vidyadhara are of one mind and one voice. We saw this in figures like Dujom Rinpoche, and perhaps still in some living masters. Through them, Guru Rinpoche speaks. With stage 22, the culmination, the idea is that no new major tertön is required. Instead, the Dharma itself, in the hearts of devoted practitioners, becomes self-sustaining. Padmasambhava indicated that in the Golden Age, the Dharma king of Shambhala will defeat degenerate forces and usher in an era of peace. Some Nyingma lamas interpret this Kalki king of Shambhala as an allegory for collective enlightened activity, rather than a single warrior. In other words, when enough people realize Guru Rinpoche within themselves, the tipping point is reached. Negativity collapses, and a new enlightened society dawns. Guru Padmasambhava's final exhortation in the 10th day invocation captures the spirit of the Satya Yuga reinitiation. In short, those with diligence, faith, and intelligence will be embraced by my compassion, just as I have said. Ultimately, though I am beyond going or coming, when your karma and veils are washed clean, that is the moment when we meet. The cycle dissolves in union. The tertöns and the minds of beings become non-dual. Every day is Guru Rinpoche Day. Every place becomes the copper-colored mountain. The Dharma no longer needs to be hidden or dramatically revealed, because it pervades ordinary life. This is the return to the natural mind, the recognition that Samantabhadra, the primordial Buddha, was never apart from us. In the Satya Yuga, Guru Padmasambhava's treasure casket opens one final time within the heart of each sentient being. As the prophecy in the Lotus Crystal Cave said, when the cycle of treasure revealers is complete, the world itself will be the Dharma. The lives of beings will be the pages of Dharma. The elements will preach eternal truth. This poetic imagery heralds a time when the gap between sacred and mundane is closed. The work of the 21 prophesied tertöns ensured that the secret teachings needed for this awakening survived into the present. Now, at stage 22, Guru Padmasambhava's blessing saturates the universe openly. In effect, the master of Odhyana reinitiates all who are left, in a ceremony not of words and ritual implements, but of direct transmission of mind. Thus, the Satya Yuga, or reinitiation, represents the full maturation of Guru Rinpoche's plan, as set out in his own prophecies. It is the consummation of the dualities and triads into singular wholeness, the negative and affirmative merged into the non-dual natural state. Padmasambhava's final prophetic aspiration for us is fulfilled. May all beings awaken in the immaculate expanse of the great perfection. In that moment, the tertön cycle ends not in an apocalypse, but in an apokatastasis, a restoration of Dharma to its natural glory, as fresh and potent as when the Buddha first taught, and as enduring and vast as space. The return to natural mind is both the destination and the beginning of a new, continuous Satya Yuga, where Guru Padmasambhava's presence is no longer veiled by time or karma, but shines openly as the innate wakefulness of all beings. In Guru Padmasambhava's own compassionate words, "Fill your minds with joy, those with faith. In truth, for me there is no traveling and no remaining. And yet, I reside in the hearts of all beings. Just summon me and I will return. When your delusion is gone, you will see me, the lotus-born, face to face, and we shall never be apart again." This is the heart of the reinitiation, the consummation of the Master's promise that transcends all dualities, inaugurating the timeless golden age of enlightenment here and now.